For glacier travel, we put multiple people on the same rope. Let's talk about two methodologies for dividing the rope for 2, 3, 4, or 5-person teams. Hi there everyone, I'm Jason. On glaciers, if a climbing partner falls in a crevasse, we need to be able to arrest their fall before they hit bottom. We tie together on the same rope so that we can get into a rest position and become human anchors that stop the fall. If we need to space people out on the same rope, we need ways to put people in the right positions on that rope. We can use the accordion method or the wingspan method. For both methods, today we're going to assume that the climbers at the ends of the rope are also keeping extra coils to be used in case a crevasse fall happens. For the accordion method, you only create segments of rope between climbers that are all of the same length, typically also including the length of the spare coils.
Keep going.
This method has the advantages of being comparably precise and also very fast. There are different starting points for even or odd numbers of climbers, but all the rope dividing can be done with 2 people, while the rest of the team manages other tasks. For a 2-person team, have each person take a strand coming from the other person and clip it through a carabiner on their belay loop. Now, walk away from each other.
Hold your ends tight.
After the rope comes taut, at each bend through a carabiner, that's where you create the tie-in knot, usually an alpine butterfly, which you can learn how to tie by following a link in the description, or a figure 8 on a bight. For a 4-person team, it's the same process, but now you add in one more sequence of each person taking a strand coming from the other person's carabiner and clipping it through their own carabiner one more time. So each carabiner has 2 bends running through it. Again, tie the knots at the bend points. In both circumstances, the length of rope coming from the outermost tie-in point to the end of the rope, that's what constitutes what will be the coils. Now, for odd numbers of team members, let's start with 3. You start with one person having both ends. Now take from either end and clip it through the carabiner on that same person's belay loop. The second person takes both strands that are coming from that original carabiner and clip them through their own carabiner. Again, walk away. And again, tie a knot at each bend point in a carabiner after the rope comes taut.
Just let gravity pull you backwards.
Yeah, Cade will be able to move easier downhill.
I put his epic as a counterweight because I'm heavier than him.
Watch the rope. Step through it. Tie your knots. Find the loose strand and do a coil. Because I'm going to come in one of Connor's knots, whichever one's left over.
For 5 people, it's the same starting point. Picking up from how we started with dividing for 3 people, this time we take the long leg of the double strands running from the first person's carabiner and A, run it back to the first person and clip it through, and then B, using that same strand, run the rope back to the second person's carabiner and clip it through. Now, walk away and tie those knots. Every person is the same distance from each other, and the coils are the exact distance as the last person would be to their nearest teammate. But that equidistant length might in itself be a problem. There are some crevasse rescue techniques that demand coils be longer than just the length to the next climber. You could address this by taking the starting point of each accordion method sequence and having whomever is holding a rope end hold some extra meters of rope moving towards the middle and not holding the literal end. That would add more rope eventually to the coils. But what if you don't have the space to spread out due to the crevasses themselves or due to cliffs or other constraints of the terrain? We can use the wingspan method. Here we use the rule of thumb stating that we take the number of climbers on the team and subtract it from 10. We then want to use that result and pull that many full wingspans of rope through before tying each knot. Again, there are slight variations for when you have even or odd numbers of climbers. Let's use a 4-person team as an example for even-numbered teams. So we want 10 minus 4, or 6 wingspans, between each knot. We find the middle of the rope. We fold the rope over so that we have both strands. For even-numbered teams, we do not put a knot in the middle. Then we pull half the number of wingspans suggested, but just for these first 2 knots. So 1, 2, 3. At that point, we tie knots in both strands. Because we're using 2 strands, when we unfold our doubled over rope, we have 6 wingspans of length between these knots. Now we go the full additional 6 wingspans on each strand. Tie the 2 additional knots, and we have our 4 tie-in points plus the ends that will make the coils. For a 2-person team, we would want 8 full wingspans. But now we only do the first steps. Find the middle, double over the rope, and do half the number of suggested wingspans, so 4. And tie those knots. Tie the coils, and we're done. For odd-numbered teams, we do put a knot in the middle. So taking a 5-person team, we would need 10 minus 5, so 5 wingspans between knots. We find the middle, and we tie the first knot. Now take out 5 wingspans on both strands. After those 5, tie knots 2 and 3. Keep going another 5 wingspans and tie knots 4 and 5. The remaining ends make the coils. Three-person teams would demand 7 wingspans of distance, but we start the same way. Find the middle, tie knot 1 in the middle, then go 7 wingspans before tying knots 2 and 3. The wingspan method is a bit slower and maybe a little less precise as you pull slightly different lengths across your arms. You also need to make sure you have a long enough rope to accommodate the coils, which will always be whatever is left over from the rest of the process. But it's able to be done in tight spaces and done by one person if everyone else is busy. What has been your favorite glaciated mountain? Or do you have a first one that's maybe on your list? Let us know about it in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, do all the things. For more information, you can go to our website at www.shortguysbetaworks.com. Besides being in the right position on a rope when you're on a glacier, you better know how to use an ice axe. You can check out this video to learn more about that. We'll see you next week and keep on getting more out of that big outside.